Imagine living in a town so small you knew everyone's name. Now imagine finding out the quiet neighbor down the road had a house full of secrets. Not the kind you whisper about, the kind that rot, the kind that stare back at you. This is the story of Ed Gein. And once you hear it, you'll never look at the farmhouse down the road the same way again. Ed Gein wasn't a monster in the way movies tell it. He didn't roar, he didn't chase, he waited. In Plainfield, Wisconsin, he was just the odd man who kept to himself. But his past was designed to create something terrifying.
Ed's mother, Augusta, believed the world was evil. Women were sinful. Strangers were dangerous. She locked her boys away from temptation. She kept her boys away from everyone except the church pews. Edward, mark my words, the flesh is a trap, a rotting sack of sin. The devil hides, and a woman's touch would poison you like rot in ripe fruit. God made us his blade to cut their wickedness from the world.
When Ma went, the house stopped breathing. There weren't no reason to get up in the morning. No one to tell me what was right or what was wrong. It was quiet, just quiet, too quiet.
And when she died, the walls started to whisper. But what was going on inside his mind, and why did it seem like he couldn't stop? When Augusta died, something inside Ed broke. Psychologists would later suggest he experienced deep grief, but also a kind of obsession. He couldn't accept loss, and he began looking for ways to bring the past back, to keep a piece of it close. In his mind, death wasn't always the end, and people weren't just people, they were material for something else. The rest of the farmhouse began to rot around him. Ed still needed to live. He sold bits of the family land, took handyman jobs, and sometimes even babysat for neighbors. People found him odd, but trustworthy enough for small tasks. He had no close friends, no family, just his books, his farm, and his thoughts. But in the quiet, his obsessions grew darker. He started reading about anatomy, headhunters, and human experiments. And then, he began visiting graveyards at night. He'd choose freshly buried women who reminded him of Augusta. Ed claimed he didn't kill at first, he only dug them up. It was the morning of November 16, 1957, when Bernice Warden opened her hardware store for what should have been an ordinary day. By afternoon, her son Frank came by and found the front door unlocked, the register open, and a single receipt written for antifreeze. The name on it, Ed Gein. Police went straight to the Gein farm. They found him that evening at a neighbor's house, calm as ever, as if nothing at all had happened. But what waited back at his property would tell another story. Inside the shed, in the icy air, they found Bernice. And in the farmhouse, signs of nights far darker than anyone had imagined. When investigators entered Ed Gein's farmhouse, it was like stepping into another world, one twisted far beyond reason. Everyday objects sat in plain sight, but they weren't right. A chair upholstered in a material no sane person would choose. A lampshade whose surface seemed organic, uneven, almost like it had once been alive. On a hook, a garment stitched together in jagged, mismatched patches, as though crafted from something dug up from the earth itself. Ed told them he had spent countless evenings digging in graveyards, stealing from the dead. He said most of what they found came from those trips, from women who had been laid to rest only days before he took them. The investigators pieced together his likely routine: drive into town by day, quiet and polite. Then, when darkness fell, drive to the cemetery with a shovel, working by lantern light, taking what he thought he needed before vanishing back into the night. He claimed he wasn't killing for sport. To him, it was about bringing Augusta back. But the truth of those nights died with him, and what really happened out there in the Wisconsin dark still lingers like an unanswered question. Ed Gein may have been locked away, but the questions he left behind, they still whisper through the quiet streets of Plainfield. Was he born a monster or made into one? And if a mind can unravel like his, how would you ever know if it's happening to someone you love? Sleep well tonight, if you can,